Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A'udzu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin Muhammadin sallallahu alaihi wasallam wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Alhamdulillah. Which day are we now in the Islamic calendar? 8 or 9, is it true? 8, yeah? Today. Alhamdulillah. Very fast, no? The time fast.
I got Scandinavia. I got Stockholm. That's why it's one day.
Very posh. So it is less than 2 months before Ramadan, correct? So we do need to, inshallah, prepare ourselves, right? And I think a topic that is very highly undervalued is akhlaq, or good manners. And it's very important, agreed? Right? And those who went to Umrah, right? You know, there are people who are with very nice beard and all this, but completely are rude, right? And not being racist, but some cultures, because I don't know, cultural things are quite rough compared to the other cultures. Anybody disagree?
Oh, no, 100%.
For whatever reasons, I do not know. Okay, it's like Albania, all right? I know somebody was in my house. Alhamdulillah, they were helping to paint the house and all this. And then I heard a loud voice talking over the phone. And that is, anything happened? No, I was talking to my parents. And, you know, and this is quite important to understand that Islam must be above and beyond our cultural influence. Great. In anything. All right. So it is important that we take this topic seriously. Imam Malik said, my mother would put my turban on my head and would say to me, go to Rabi'ah and learn from his manners before you seek knowledge. Yeah, because there are things that we do need to implement, especially with students of knowledge, like you and me, right? That there are things that you must have. For example, number one, what is number one? Punctuality. Agreed? Right? You do need to be punctual because some people, perhaps some teachers perhaps stays very very far away from here, right, and are able to come on time, and yet students are not on time, right? How do you address the teacher is very important also. Great, yeah, that you should address them in the manner that is suitable for a teacher. And secondly is like, if you want to correct the teacher, maybe perhaps you do it outside the class or privately. It's quite important, yeah, to understand this, yeah. How and when to ask questions. Yeah, so it's very important that you don't interrupt. Sometimes when you interrupt a teacher, sometimes they would be very, it disrupts the thought of thinking, the threads of mind, and it disrupts. So there might be a way for students to ask questions properly, not to interrupt the talks too often. Yeah, now mobile phones. And this is very important. Either you attend class and concentrate, or use a mobile phone somewhere else. If you want to use a mobile phone, it's important. It's quite. Do you, Anas, you agree? Not you though. That if somebody was talking, let's say you're talking, and somebody was on the phone, is it rude or not rude?
It's rude.
Yes, and all this part of akhlaq you must understand, right? It doesn't matter. Sorry. Sorry. If I ask questions, of course. But other than that, most people were on the mobile phones to check something else, isn't it true? Right? Football score, right? Morocco against all this. I'm not about you, of course, right? Right. So this is important, yeah. That other, if you want to use, even though you want to use a phone for whatever reasons, at least go somewhere else. And this is more appropriate than in front of the class. You do this, right? So don't check on your who likes you on your Facebook pages or your likes on Instagram pages and all this. Don't need to check that in class. Yeah, and dressing must be appropriate, of course. Yeah, it must be humble, right? And you do need to stick to the class till the end, inshallah. Right? It's quite important to understand this. Yeah. So the main issue, I think, in good manners and akhlaq, perhaps evolve. When did the social media start? Before that, there's nothing at all, no? Right? When is it start? Early 2000. 2000 what?
2008, 2004.
4 or 5 around there, right? Now, this is what I find, right? I always think that Indonesians and Malaysians are the best people in terms of how they speak to you, very soft-spoken, until social media comes. Then you see the true colors, no? You know the netizens? Subhanallah, the language they use is completely off the scale sometimes, and it reflects the true colors of the people actually. How they, because when you are on internet, what happened? You are like another person, right? You are in a different world, and you do not, nobody can see you. Like when you talk to each other now, you must control yourself. But when you are in social media, you cannot control it. So you can see many times people are abusing, whether it's celebrities or even the people who are giving talks and all this. You're abusing, and subhanallah, it's quite important to maintain etiquette, right? Mufti Meng, right? I'm not into Mufti Meng at all for whatever reasons. But there's no reason for you to be rude, isn't it true? If you want to do enjoy good, forbid evil, at least stay in a nice way, right? Or perhaps we need to be careful when listening to him, because for me personally, even my students who went to see him completely, when they come back, they said something about how he, even let's say somebody's working in a non-halal place, he said it's okay to work in that place as long as you try to find something better, right? So what do you think? Immediately, isn't it true? Because you don't know when the angel of death will come, right? But his advice is very different. And many other things, I can't remember what my students said. He, immediately after the talk, he went, well, that was in Excel, right, about a few weeks ago. Immediately he texted me, this is, and I regret it.
There was one in Twitter. It was like a comment on something. It was like, oh, zina and shirk is all bad. But I heard the Mufti man talk, and he said that if you break someone's heart, it's worse than all of them.
Okay, yeah. But even then, if you want to comment something, there must be a decorum, manners, good manners to correct things. Yeah, and this is quite important, because at the end of the day, all of us make mistakes. Even the biggest sheikh can make a mistake. Agreed? Yeah. So when you correct people, you do need to be in a way having a good manner, especially now with the social media. Yeah, doesn't mean that nobody can see you. You completely go all out to condemn other people. So this is important. Yeah. Even as you know, um, in your families, perhaps Muhammad, right? Do you eat in a group, family together, parents, children? At that time of that, when having dinner, it's good to have proper conversation, isn't it true? Not about some people who use internet, all this, and this is, yes, it's rude, right? So we do need to put our akhlaq into proper perspective. What did Prophet Muhammad say about himself? Innama bu'ithu liutammima makarimal akhlaq. Indeed, I have been sent to correct good manners. And this is important, that we're going to talk about how was his manners when he was among the Sahaba. Impeccable manners. So much so that, when Prophet Muhammad every Sahaba would think that he's a best friend, because the way he treats others is as if he the best friend. So, and not only that, right? And especially even with Sahaba themselves. Let's say, Ayman, let's say you were telling something about the deen. Even though I know about it, I will still listen. I won't interrupt you. And the Sahaba will make you feel as if you have passed the knowledge to him. And behind this person's back, this person was saying to another person, I mean, just for information, actually, when I learned about that knowledge, he wasn't even born. But the way he do it, you will end up feeling very happy. And that's how high the manners is. Nowadays, what we do is that when, oh yeah, I know about this, right? And you always interrupt, because you want to know, you want to show each other that you have the best knowledge. And this is not correct. And this is how the Sahaba was in the terms of how good manners they had, by trying just to listen and then just to be attentive and not to be rude and saying that you know about this much more than this person, which is we always try to do. We always try to outdo each other in terms of who has the best knowledge, right? Now, certain common misconceptions about good manners. Number one, as I said just now, I'm from this culture. This is how we do it all the time, right? So in terms of speaking to others, in terms of having gatherings and all this, right? Talking loudly. I remember, this is again not being racist, right? I remember when I was in Good Street, I was teaching, I can't remember how I was there, in Good Street Mosque, right? Heard a loud commotion around at the back, right, in another room, right? I said, what happened? Oh, the Nigerians having their lessons, right? It's completely not correct because first of all, you're in a mosque, you will disturb others, right? And this is important. Where are you from?
So like 2% Nigerian.
Oh, really? How come? From where? From where? Mother side.
No, I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. So it is important to do away with this misconception that I'm from this culture. That's how we speak. We're quite loud. Yeah, and this is completely wrong, right? Islam must always be above your own cultures. Yeah. Number two. Yeah. Right. Young kids, you all, inshallah, will be fathers. Agreed? Right? There is an excuse. Don't worry. Leave him alone. She's so young. Don't disturb her. Kids running in the mosque, for example, right? Again, in the mosque in Shepherd's Bush, there's a smaller mosque, right? At the police station going down, right? Children are running all over the place, right? It's so annoying. Honestly, if you were to go to mosque in perhaps in Turkey, in Malaysia, Indonesia, you can hear the pin drop. So quiet the mosque there. And this is how it is supposed to be because you need to teach the children to respect the mosque. It's very important that you do this. On the other hand, of course, the mosque community cannot say, I think a lot of Bangladeshi mosques are doing this, right? Children below 7 are not allowed to be in the mosque. Again, it's completely wrong because you need to familiarize the children with going to the mosque. Right? And of course, sometimes the father's got no choice because wife is very busy somewhere, so you need to bring the child to the mosque. Right? So,
But do you think that's a bad thing if there's like a pin drop sound?
no, a lot of people in the mosque, but they don't make noise. Yes, 100%. Quite packed, yeah.
You see, if there's a young child walking in front of you while you're praying, are you still supposed to stop them?
Yes. Yeah, because the child knows that you're not supposed to
Yeah.
pass it behind the person. And
What
again,
if they're like-
I think more importantly, with your question, the parents is the one who's supposed to tell the child, don't pray in this. Brothers, my father was very strict. If I were to do that, I'm finished at home. I'm completely toast. I'm gone. And this is how it is. You're supposed to discipline the child in such a way that the child remembers everything, inshallah. Right?
I remember one time I was praying Qur'an and then the man was in the first row with his child. The child almost cut the imam.
And then what happened?
Like the imam asked the imam, was like, do you think we should like stop him? He's like, I'm not too sure. So maybe we should check it out.
Yeah, you should stop the child.
It was weird because he would have came at an angle with the stairs. Stopped him.
Yeah. Especially young, and this is knowledge, right? Toddlers that are crying in front of you. What should you do? Pick up and carry. It's okay. Again, your culture, right? Completely refuse to do because they think that they cannot move at all. Is it true?
You can.
Yeah, no. But in your culture, yeah, because not only the mobile phones are ringing and all this, and nobody pick up because they think they cannot move. And completely, if it would be in front of me, I ignore my phone, I pick up and switch it off myself because it's very important to do this, not to disturb the rest. All right. Again, it's all about etiquette and your manners. And all this.
My phone was ringing and it was out loud, and it was in the qiyam, so I didn't know whether I should go bend down all the way down to turn it off.
Yeah, you should.
You should.
Yeah, maybe we talk about 5 kinds of movements. One movement is wajib, What is the fard movement? To stop somebody from. Yeah, this is obligatory. If not, you're sinning yourself. Right. Number two, one is the sunnah. Sunnah movements is when you fill up the rows. Right, fill up the rows. Right, so that means if somebody there's a gap because somebody going to the toilet in front of you, either you go. How do you go? Let's say this imam is here, right? If you're standing here, would you go? Yeah, closer to the center of the mosque, right? Or somebody from behind will go to the front to cover that. So this is sunnah movements. Movement that is mubah. Permitted is mobile phones, right? Babies, let's carry up and all this. This mubah is allowed. Even we discussed it for many times, right? When that says this is quite near me. No, this I'm nearer there. I'm praying, and somebody knocked at my door. I can actually open the door and continue where I was praying, as long as you don't make your face away from the qibla, right? So you can do that. It's mubah allowed. The movement that is macro. Hold on. No, that is haram. Look at the skies. Yes, look at the skies. Right, it's macro. One is haram is too many movements. Is your beard and all this. Is this? Sorry. Close the eyes. I think one was macro, right? So you can close the eyes occasionally if these are running around, right, distracting, right? But after that, you need to open up immediately. Right? Sorry, your question first.
One time I was praying in my room and my alarm went off and I was like on the other side of the room.
Is it far away?
Yeah, I would have to like walk.
No, forget it. Yeah.
And the whole time he was on our way in this mosque. And then there was like a little kid. He was trying to go through like people's legs, right? What do you do in that situation?
Close your legs. While he's you will learn today.
No, you just need to prevent the child from, because if not, you go.
He goes like,
Yeah, just carry it and put one side and all this nicely.
yeah.
Do you know? Well, the kids can't help it, right? At the end of the day, just be patient, inshallah. Right? Yeah, but it is important. Whoever the father is, they should remind the child not to do it, and because instead of just letting it go, it's okay, it's a child. This is what I'm trying to say, right? Never give an excuse. Oh, this is so young. Let it go. You shouldn't. You shouldn't discipline the child. A mosque is a mosque, right? It's not a playground. Very important, of course.
Next time I see something, I'm running up slacked.
Sunnah? No sunnah? Almi, no sunnah? Yes.
What kind of movement would you do? Like, if you carry a baby, would you just continue within your hands?
Yeah, usually people like that.
Ustad, can you give a demonstration of praying with the baby?
No, people usually saw it like that. I think at the end of the day, it depends on the baby, right? Usually you carry the baby on the the baby on one side and you pray. Yeah? So maybe what Salafi?
Maybe it's heavy, like, you know, some.
So Salafi.
They're quite heavy, like.
Yeah. No choice. You have to do it, right? But of course, brothers, if you know that your wife is at home and the baby is always crying, then don't bring the baby to the mosque, right? Because it depends on the baby. Some baby is very good, they're very quiet. Some baby is completely a nightmare. Right? Like a mess. Yeah. I know. I told my student.
It's not baby.
Okay, let's continue, right? So bad habits will only develop if you don't stop it. The parents must be very strict on this, especially etiquette of going to the mosque, especially when addressing the elderly or older people. That's quite important. In my culture, for example, we will call them older brother, older sister, or uncle and auntie. And it's quite important to develop this from young. So and I heard many, it's quite sad in this country, right? Especially you guys are growing up in the West. You just call them by the name and all this. And sometimes you find that it's not appropriate. The way you speak, even, I can see some people are speaking to the older people in a very rough manner, as if they're not your friends, right? They must be respected, whoever they are, whatever culture they are. That is very important. Yeah. Now, so this is the third common mistake is that the parents always think that the school is responsible for disciplining the children. Is it true? It's always, the discipline always begins at home, always, right? So, but it's always like that, right? When the parents themselves have poor akhlaq, the children will always adopt the ways of the parents. Agreed? Always. If the parents are smoking, the children will end up smoking. That's always the case. Very difficult. So, as a parent, you yourself must develop this good akhlaq. You must know what this akhlaq is, right? And you must learn from you do not know. And this is important before you expect the children to end up having good manners. Yeah. The next one is a common misconception that the poor has good manners, the rich has bad manners. I've seen it myself because, alhamdulillah, when I was working as a dentist, I went to different schools, right? To do you have the school, you have the mouth guard when you play sports. So I was one who make the mouth guards. The children in expensive rich schools have impeccable manners. Amazing the way they say, I address you as sir and all this, I'm sorry and all this, and impeccable, most of them. But the children in poor schools are completely horrible manners. The poorer schools, and this is misconception. So it shouldn't be like that you think that just because they are rich, perhaps they are too pampered, they are not, because a lot of them, they went to boarding school and they were well, there's matrons, all this, and they discipline the kids, right? So it's a common misconception. Okay, as we said just now about the mobile phones, right? Oh, do be careful that your mobile phones, you do need to switch them off before you start to pray. Yeah. Now, as I said just now, Prophet Muhammad has been sent to you and me in order to instill good manners. Elmi, you met the Arabs, right? How are they?
Which ones?
In general, in Saudi Arabia. Really? Right? But many of them actually are not that nice, right? And this is what I don't understand, right? And you may disagree with me, especially when they're dealing with white Americans. They're very nice. But when dealing with, sorry to say, Bangladesh, Indians, Pakistanis, they are very horrible in general. And this is how completely unacceptable they are. And this is how sad. I'm sure you have seen all this on YouTube. When a blind man is white and try to hold on to somebody, people will quite tired. But when a black man is blind, people try to get away from this person, trying as if they're gonna rob this person. You, right? You can see Akram, if you see the reactions, it's quite appalling. And this is how humans are in general, right? And it's completely wrong, right? What is the last sermon of Prophet? What did he say?
Black is not better than white.
No, has no superiority over white, right? And Arabs has no superiority, not Arabs. And this is how it is. Our last sermon, the will that we are supposed to inherit from Prophet is about no discriminations. What did Allah say in Surah number 13, verse 49, verse number 13? Ya ayuhan nasu inna khalaqnakum min dhakarin wa untha wa ja'alnakum shu'uban wa qaba'ila lita'arafu. Oh mankind, we have created you from man and woman, have made you in nations and tribes so that you may get to know one another, right? Not to be discriminating with each other. Get to know one another. What's the next part? Inna akramakum indallah atqakum. That the one who is honored by Allah is one with taqwa. Yeah. Okay, so let's look at what Prophet ﷺ did. Right. Okay. First of all, Allah said in Surah number 68, verse number 4, "Wa innaka la'ala khuluqin 'azim." What does it mean? Surely you possess, you possess sublime moral excellence. Yeah. So listen to this. How did Prophet ﷺ, what is his character, Prophet ﷺ? The Quran. His character is the Quran. And this is very important, right, brothers? If you claim that you memorize the Quran, if you claim that you know the Quran well, it should reflect on you. Right? Everything, it should be reflected. If not, you're just wasting your time. Are there a lot of people who memorize Quran but have horrible characters? There's quite a lot, because they don't understand the Quran. It doesn't affect the heart. It's just from the mouth that they're reciting. Okay? Now, in the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there's even though he's the greatest person ever, right? He never assumed the ever superiority. He never assumed, right? And Ayman, if you know that you memorize the Quran very well, right? In general, a lot of people, you may think that for you perhaps, I'll be entering Jannah, but not him, right? He said, I'm the Prophet of Allah, and I do not know what will be my end. This is from Bukhari. This is authentic, right? There's a lot of humility with him. Yeah. In another hadith, yeah, Bukhari Muslim, yeah, Prophet Muhammad said, "O people of Quraysh, be prepared for the hereafter. I cannot save you from the punishment of Allah. O Bani Abdul Manaf, I cannot save you from Allah. O Abbas, son of Abdul Muttalib, I cannot protect you either. O Fatima, daughter of Muhammad, even you I cannot save." So it shows complete humility, and it shows how good his manners is, because it's not about, oh, I know everything, therefore I'm going to help you in all this. Never. All right. So everybody will be accountable to their own deeds, inshallah. Yeah. And he, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, say, he used to say, he used to pray to Allah, "Oh Allah, listen to this. I'm but a man, right? If I hurt anyone in any manner, then forgive me and do not punish me." And that shows clearly how much he knows that he's just a human. He might have said something against anybody, and he always asks Allah to forgive him, because, you know, who knows that sometimes at some point of time he might slip his tongue. Yeah. This is what I said about older men. Yeah. He, Prophet Muhammad, always received people with courtesy and showed respect to older people. And he stated, to honor, listen to this, to honor an old man is to show glorification to Allah. I repeat again, to honor an old man is to show glorification to Allah. Right? So it's important that a person is older than you, right? As I said, in my culture, for example, we always address the older one as uncle, and always big brother, elder sister. We never address people by their name. And this shows, you know, a method to referring to this hadith about how they respect and honor the elderly people. Albanian culture, same. Bangladeshi culture, similar. Moroccans?
Yeah.
But somehow when you go to the West, everything finished, right? Everything changed. It shouldn't be, right? Because whatever things that we have been practiced, alhamdulillah, but in our culture, sometimes it comes from Islam itself that you should implement.
I was shocked when I first came here and I see youngsters sitting in buses and then don't even ask if they want to see. Like, even, you know, but even if someone's like 2 years older, then you still open them.
Yeah.
You see.
Yeah. Alhamdulillah. Do you take buses? I'm surprised. Right. And now this is quite important, right? Prophet Muhammad will also be very polite to a person whom he may find difficult to get along, or who may be wicked to him. That means not everybody will be nice to us, agreed? And sometimes, somehow other shaitan is always poking fire into you and trying to say to you, no, right? Let's get away from him. No, he will always treat the guests, no matter how rude they were to him, in the best of manner, right? And listen to him, what he said, right? It's on Bukhari, so authentic, inshallah. He is a bad person in the sight of Allah. Who is this? Who does not behave courteously, and people shun his company because of his bad manners, right? So in the eyes of Allah, good. Always remember, right? Even for me, there are few people who doesn't like me in the mosque, central mosque, believe it or not, right? Even then, when I greet him with the salam, honestly, it's not for him, it's for Allah. There's always this pride in us, is that why should I be the first one to greet salam to him, because he did all the things to me, but you want to please Allah. And this is short sense of good manners, which you must exercise. Now, when two people meet each other, right? Who's what? Let's say Aiman, you want to meet Iman. Who said salam first?
The first one.
What is the hadith? Iman?
Youngest son was the narrator said the one who gives salam first is free from arrogance.
Okay, but there's another narration saying about anyone knows what another narration?
Sitting down, the one who comes, yes, you're going to sit
The
down.
one who's closest to Allah.
Yes, the one who want to be close to Allah is one who says salam first. And this is quite important because all of us want to be close to Allah. Brothers, always remember our entry to Jannah is not dependent on our salah, our fasting, but it is dependent on Allah's mercy. Inshallah, if we gain Allah's love because of this, we will enter Jannah because of Allah's mercy. Yes.
Ustaz, regarding giving salams, if so it's to random people, right? That you
Sorry?
give salam, that's like the closest to Allah, like random. Right?
And random, and also especially when you know each other.
So like, let's say for example, if you walk out the masjid, you see some guy, you don't know if he's Muslim or not. Like, he looks Hispanic, or he could be like Algerian or something.
Yeah.
Should you give salam or?
Yeah, maybe it's quite near the mosque. Even maybe you do not know anyway, is it? But of course, brothers, you're not expected to give every the salam to every single person in the mosque, isn't it true? Right? So you just give to whomever you think that is closer to you and all this.
One of the sheikhs near Alberton actually said that the elders they feel left out from the community because the youngsters don't really.
Greet them.
Yeah.
So that is the other round.
Sorry?
I try to say salam to the elders, they get very scared.
Not just you, me. I'm like, because my mosque is Bangladeshi mosque, right? They always ignore me. You know?
I don't think they understand.
Sorry?
Because the way Asians say salam is very strange. Like the accent.
Your salam.
No, the way they say salam. They say, because we say without accent. So when the Buddhists of Pakistan say salam,
Say?
it sounds a bit. I'm not to say it. So I just hear it.
So posh.
The way they say it's quick, it's quick.
Yeah,
Very
see?
quick,
Yeah.
quick, yeah.
Yes.
It's only the same sound. They speak
So
their own language.
you're saying that they
Sometimes a bit
they don't
language
understand.
barrier, even though it's the same language.
Yeah. So sometimes it's called culture. I don't feel welcome in some of these Asian mosques personally.
Me as well.
But
No, you like that.
any questions?
Sorry, what was the? Should you give us salam or no?
I will give salam.
You give salam.
Yeah, because even inshallah, if it's not Muslim, perhaps because of your manners, perhaps there's a lot of times people took shahada because of the manners of the Muslims. Why do you take shahada? That the Muslims affect you? Mannerism? No.
Ustaz, because one time I was in Sudan, and then these two like really dark skinned boys, they came and I said, Assalamu alaikum, and then they just stared at me. I think they're from South Sudan.
the Muslim friends that you have good manners. That's one of the reasons why. Yeah, so it may be, right? I remember when I first came to the UK, to the year 2000, I was calling for a cab, right? I was surprised he said this. Because you said your name is Muhammad, that's why I came. He's not a Muslim. So the fact, and okay, another thing, right? I'm not think that we are so amazing in Singapore, Indonesia. So I was buying things in Mecca, the drinks, right? And I want to pay the vendor. You're from Indonesia, right? So no need. You pay later. I trust you. That's what he said, right? Not me.
No, I'm not from Indonesia.
From Singapore.
Whenever he wants to bargain, he says Indonesian. When he wants to say that.
I got my date. I got your dates sheet. Is it true? That's the because Indonesian. All right. So it is important, yeah, that we understand that whether a person you like or not. It's a fact, right? Sometimes the person you just don't like. But you just need to be polite. Very important, yes.
The thing is, when I'm at work, know people from like Indonesia, China, Japan, whatever, always have the best character. India and Pakistan. It's the opposite.
I did say that.
That's not my fault.
I was the only one to think
Sound like
everyone thinks the same thing.
Yeah. Did you change your mind in when you Umrah?
No, it confirmed.
Okay, I don't know. All right, okay.
Because I saw a lot of Indonesians, they're nice.
Yeah. Alhamdulillah.
Not when they did tawaf, even.
But seriously, one day, inshallah, make a plan to go to my side of the world. You see very different. In fact, I told you, right, the first time I went to Umrah, It was before I came to London. That means I have not met any Muslims at all, besides the people from my side of the world. I was so shocked how horrible the Muslims are in terms of the akhlaq and characters. Is different from what I grew up with. So this is when you're free, inshallah, after you do your Hajj, save some money, visit the Muslims in other parts of you find it very different. You will see, right? Inshallah.
I met some Indonesians in Dublin. They're actually pretty nice.
No, Pakistan.
Pretty nice.
Pakistan
Yeah,
is different.
Sorry?
I think Pakistan, the ones here back, when you go to Pakistan, they'll probably
Perhaps different. Yeah, I saw a lot of YouTube videos.
Yeah,
They're quite nice
yeah,
in
yeah.
Pakistan.
I got you.
Even in Bangladesh, they're quite nice.
Never seen no one go there.
Africa, even in Bangladesh, a lot of videos of the Westerners they took in Bangladesh. Very nice people. But again, of course, brothers, sorry to say this. I have to say this. Perhaps because the video maker was white
Yeah.
in general. Do you agree?
I mean, not sorry.
Yeah, because it's a white, and imagine it's from different color, maybe different, right? How they perceive the people. Yeah. Okay. Number 5, brothers, when you shake hands, what is etiquette? Now, Prophet ﷺ was always the first to greet another. Can you imagine? He's a beloved, best person, always the first to greet, not expected to be greeted at. Yeah, and would not withdraw his hand from a handshake till the other one withdrew it. So just and when the hadith, when you shake hands, what happened? Your sins will also fall down. Right? So if one wanted to say something in his ears, he sallallahu alaihi wasallam would not turn away till one had finished, as reported in the books of Abu Dawud and At-Tirmidhi. He sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not like the people to get up for him and used to say, "Let him who likes people to stand up in his honor, he should seek a place in hell." So as a teacher, inshallah, you'll be teachers soon. You shouldn't expect people to stand up for you when you arrive. It's quite important. But he sallallahu alaihi wasallam may occasionally stand up for people whom he respects or he missed. So hold on. That means you are allowed to stand up if you think that you haven't seen the person for a long time and perhaps he's a person, elderly person, you can stand up. It's not a sin. But you shouldn't expect people to stand up for you just because you're elderly or whatever it is, your position. It's quite important to understand.
So for example, let's say the guests arrive at your house and you're just sitting down and you're feeling to sit down there. It's like it's not from it's just out of respect, not out of fear of the person, like
Yeah.
person.
Yeah. It's cultural things, yes.
Yeah.
What if you stand up to give them salam?
Sorry?
Well, the Sheikh in Dublin used to say, if you get up to give the other person salam, that's fine. Normally you should just get up.
No, as I said, you can stand up perhaps because you respect the person.
And he used to say, only you understand up if you're going to give him salam, otherwise you just keep on sitting down.
It's up to you, but yeah, perhaps it's nicer if you want to stand up, but the person shouldn't expect you to stand up.
Oh, okay.
Right? There's quite important difference in it. Yeah. But my culture goes to extreme end. Precisely. You see it? Okay, somebody came to my class and on Saturday, right? Kissed my hand, all this, right? And I was so shocked. Who saw it? I think somebody, Anal saw it.
Was it there last week?
Yeah. So shouldn't, because culture shouldn't be the one who dictates our movement that may lead to shirk. You have to be careful, right? Again, in my culture, when you pass between a person, let's say people are sitting down, and when you pass in between, you need to bow down and pass down, and that is also not allowed.
Like it's a picture.
Sorry?
Like they're taking a picture.
No, bow down like that. Not the video and not the video.
What is almost like, let's say this elderly man, he's on like, let's say wheelchair, he's on a chair, he can't get up. Then you bow down, try and give him salam.
Yeah, of course, because your intention is not because it's yeah, it's okay. Inshallah. Okay. Now, number 6, right? Prophet Muhammad ﷺ would avoid sitting in a permanent place to say that, oh, if you look at the seerah of all the Sahaba, right? They never wear ostentatious clothes to think that they are the important people, right? They always blend with the people in order to show. In fact, you know, right from the Al Sirah, even when Umar ibn Khattab was trying to get the key to Jerusalem, where was he?
Walking.
He was walking, and then the person, his slave, was on the camel, right? And they confused, yeah, because you know, the Persians or the I think it was the Romans, right? They were wearing nice clothes and all this. They wanted to greet him, and subhanallah, they thought that the person on the camel or the horse, is it camel? I think camel, right? I think camel. I think camel, right? Camel was the servant. They were so shocked. So again, all this shows the impeccable manners of the people. Now, talking about this, servants and all this, because I'm a solicitor in immigration. Right? I know, sadly, right? Listen, right? I know, especially people in the Middle East, they would treat the domestic workers so badly that when they come to the UK, they always run away. Always run away, right? Your people.
You mean my neighbor?
No. But it's very important to respect everybody, right? Because if they were treated well, they wouldn't want to run away from you. Agreed? In the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who was the freed slave?
No, was it that Malik?
The one that the parents came, Zaid ibn Harith, right? And he was a slave, right? Even I think it was the father came to get him back, and he said no. And the Prophet sallallahu gave him the option to choose. And this is how, can you imagine? And slave and domestic worker is very different. The slave is as ownership. The domestic worker is just, well, in actual world, it's just a contract. But in your world, it's a slave sometimes, right? Because some of them are treated so badly. I know because I've seen it myself, that they're forced to work from 6 o'clock in the morning to about 12 o'clock at night. Sometimes not sleeping. And what did they eat? They eat the food of leftovers. And of course, these owners mostly from Arabs, UAE included, right? They live in luxurious hotel. They were treated so badly by the employer. Sorry. So it is important that no matter what is our position in society, never treat others in a horrible way, because it clearly shows how bad your manners and your akhlaq is. Yeah? Seriously, I was so shocked. And of course, some of them even are non-Muslims, and when they see me, my name is Muhammad Hilal, they say, oh, another Muslim. Right? They always blame sometimes the religion for treating it. It's not. It's never Islam. It's always the person itself. Yeah? Now, this is interesting. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu used to visit the poorest of the sick persons and ask the Muslims to do likewise. As from Bukhari, he sallallahu would sit with the humblest of persons, saying that the righteousness alone was the criterion of one's superiority over another. He sallallahu invariably invited people to be, whether it's slaves, servants, or the poorest believers, to partake with him on his scanty meals. Prophet sallallahu, does he have a lot of food? No, because sometimes that's the reason why he fasted, right? Because there's no food in the house. SubhanAllah. Even Aisha got to share some dates with the people, right? Just the dates, nothing else. Because they don't have food because they're poor, or because they chose to be like that. They chose because all the food are given to the poor, right? In order to distribute the food, SubhanAllah. Right? So it is important that we look at a person in a mosque, central mosque. Sometimes the people are very poor. Yep. This mosque, any people who are poor outside, invite them for meals and all this, to ask them or give them food and all this. It's very important to treat everybody the same. It is with Allah's decree, perhaps, that they are in that state. Who knows, one day we will be in that state, only with Allah's decree. All right, so we do need to be kind to everybody, inshallah. According to the best examples was Prophet Muhammad, of course. Now, next one. Whenever he sallallahu alaihi wasallam visited a person, he would first greet him and then take his permission to enter the house. Yeah. So greet him and ask permission to enter the house. It's quite important. Instead, you just go in the house and just enter as if it's your own house. There must be an etiquette to enter the house with the salam and ask permission. Yep. He sallallahu alaihi wasallam advised the people to follow this etiquette and not get annoyed if anyone declined to give permission. For it was quite likely the person concerned was busy otherwise and did not mean any disrespect. So the etiquette is, if you knock on somebody's house to bell, how many times should you bell?
3 times.
3 times. If not, no answer,
Yeah.
just leave.
That's any question. You ring them.
No need to the window and all this, right?
Start throwing rocks at you.
That's really rocks and all. It shouldn't be the way, right? All this is etiquette that we must follow. Because that's not what they do.
They ring more than 3 times.
And after that,
Huh?
if not,
Then they start calling you on your phone.
3 times on your phone as well. 3 times.
yeah. So again, all this has been clearly explained to us in hadith. But for those who are your neighbors, right? You're not allowed to speak each other from the garden, right? You are not allowed to speak. You shouldn't speak each other or call each other from the garden. You need to speak from the front. It's in the Quran, right? They're speaking to each other, unless of course there's some emergency and all this, right? But you shouldn't speak with each other at the garden. Some gardens are exposed, right? You can see their neighbors, right? So you shouldn't be doing because sometimes perhaps people want their own privacy.
What's the neighbor like? They used to throw in my backyard and play football.
From what?
The child used to play football in the backyard. So they used to throw over the fence.
Yeah, just put it back. Same thing, my neighbor. Just put it back. Just throw it back, inshallah. That's exception. Yeah, but in general, don't speak to me.
If you're worried, let's say you ring the dog 3 times and you're worried about the person, like he normally answers, but then you're actually worried that something might happen.
Yeah, then it's the exceptional case. Then you need to knock the door, is it? Or ask whoever the children, what happened to the father and all this, on the mother,
Give them a call.
inshallah. Yeah. Now this is quite difficult because nowadays, I don't know, do your houses have not the mobile phone, the phones on the landline? Do you have it? You have. They're very difficult now because sometimes in the old days, we have a lot of landlines. You can just call at home and cling, and they will ring sometimes. Sorry, Jurassic era.
Have you seen the thing that the father died for starvation or something, and then the baby starved to death?
Yeah,
So
I
no
don't
one
know.
went to ask him.
Yeah. It's exceptional. Now the next one, brothers, is important for all of you to understand, right? Because you're going to get married soon, isn't it true? Inshallah. Atika, right? There's no type of household work that is too low or too undignified of Prophet Muhammad. So it has never been the case of men just work, go back, that's it. Everybody expected to for wife to do. You need to contribute, inshallah. Yeah, because at the end of the day, especially if you have children, always remember, brothers, there's always an escape route for the men, right? What is escape route? Take care of the child, your work. But to be with I'm sure Iqbal, you agree, right? To be with a child 24 hours a day, quite very tiring. Especially your children, they're quite cute and naughty, right?
They jump over my head.
Yeah, but you have the ability to go out of the house. Your wife don't. And that itself is a huge burden on the wife in general, right? So the least you can do perhaps, but never say this, right? Oh, I go out to look for work. You go out and do everything. Sometimes being in the house with children, right, is very, very tiring. Completely tiring. So you have to, inshallah, contribute to the household work, right? Because while you work, your wife is working at home too, right? Looking after children is a work, It's work. It's 24 hours, so you cannot escape. Whereas as I said, you can escape from more. That's why sometimes my students who are parents, who are fathers, as I said to you about, they hate school holidays. Why? They're stuck at home. They spend time with the children, right? Then they know how it feels like, right? So Aisha Anha stated, he always joined in household work and would at times mend his clothes, repair his shoes, and sweep the floor. He would milk, tether, and feed his animals and do the household shopping. Household shopping, yes. Right. Yeah. Okay. And then he, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, would not hesitate to do the menial work of others particularly the orphans and widows from Nasa'in ad-Darami. Once, when there was no male member in the household of the companion Khabab ibn al-Arad anhu, who had gone to the battlefield, he used to go to his house daily and milk his cattle for the inhabitants. So when the Sahaba went out for a battle and Muhammad was happened to be there, he just went to the house and get the milk and give it to the children. This is amazing, right? So it's very important to show this kind of mannerism. Now, what is the hadith about good manners? First of all, from Bukhari, Abu Darda reported the Prophet Muhammad said, "Nothing is weightier on the scale of good deeds than one's good manners." And it's important to understand this, right? The heaviest would be in Al-Mizan, La ilaha illallah, and then comes good manners. So it is important because a lot of Muslims think that Islam is just salah, fasting. Good manners contribute a lot to this, right? Includes how you treat your neighbors, how you treat your parents, right? Whether you have light or not. And all this considered good manners. It's very important to ensure that you understand. If you don't understand what good manners is, pick up a book. I'll recommend you one book, inshallah. Excellent book on good manners, and you know what is good manners. It covers everything that we do from the time that we wake up and the time that we sleep. In general, our duties are two. First is to Allah, and second to the people around us, whether it's our wife, our children, our parents, our grandparents, and your colleagues and all this. Yeah. So with Allah, you know the duty, but with others, subhanAllah, you need to ensure that they are not harmed by your own hands. So you do need to control yourself, right? The second one, Abu Hurairah said, I heard Abu al-Qasim, Mr. Rasulullah say, the best among you in Islam are those with the best of manners, so long as they develop a sense of understanding, of Al-Bukhari. So the best among us, inshallah, are those who have excellent manners. Have you read the books of the Sahaba? Stories of the Sahaba. If you read them, they have excellent characters. Subhanallah, all of them. Yeah, and it's important. And we discussed before, brothers. You have never read any narrations which you would read if it happened, that the Sahaba never raised their voice to the wives. Never heard. Slapped, kicked. Never read. And it's quite important. We talked before about how Umar ibn Khattab was approached by another person who was complaining about his wife. What happened?
He said, I was going to come.
Yeah, the person wanted to knock, and then he heard something and he left because Umar was being nagged by the wife, right? And this is quite important to Iqbal. You know it's difficult, right? To control yourself. Do you agree? But the reason some marriages work and some do not is because marriages work because people are exercising patience. It's different when you're dealing with different species, right? Because you just don't understand, isn't it, Iqbal? First will come the menstruation. It's different, right? Then when they get older, then is the post-menopausal period. Completely different. The hormones are jumping up and down, right? You just need sometimes just keep quiet. Do you agree?
I agree to some extent.
Yeah.
But since Allah has blessed me with a daughter,
Yeah.
she's a complete copy of her mother. So she does the same with her mother.
So.
And you know, my wife, she goes crazy with her. She's like, I can't deal with it. I'm like, that's your problem. Deal with her now.
Yeah. But this is important, right, brothers? Once you get married, you will know, right? Yes.
So would you say after menopause, what happens after?
Just the hormones, hormonal issues. Anything with hormones, you just need to be patient. There's no answer to it.
Do you know why?
Sorry? No, the hormone imbalance. So they feel cold, they feel hot, they lose their temper, and
mix of emotions.
Yeah, there's a lot of emotions. Just read about menopause, you know, right? So perhaps, and this is important, brothers. Your mothers perhaps are in that situation, right? And you do need to understand it's not them. Sometimes it's just difficult to be able to control yourself when hormones are jumping up and down. Yep. So again, treat your mothers well, especially. Yeah. And because as it is, what is the hadith about when Prophet Muhammad said Amin 3 times.
Is it when he was going to the member?
Yeah. So what the parents? What was the hadith?
His face covered in dust.
No.
Is it when whoever which has either two parents and one of them
Yes.
and didn't
Still alive,
and still alive, but he didn't please them?
or he didn't cause him to enter paradise, right? May he be in hellfire. So when your parents are still alive, it should, inshallah, of course, cause you to enter Jannah. If not, something must be wrong with you, because they are the keys to Jannah, right? So always remember this. So excuse your mothers perhaps for having all this bad mood and all this. This perhaps is the menopausal period and very difficult, right? Because if that's why a lot of marriages, I'm not talking about one or two, a lot are suffering, because perhaps the men think that, oh, you know, I'm the man of the family. Of course you are, right? But you need to be more understanding in order for the marriage to work. A lot, trust me, a lot are having difficulties. Yeah.
It's not just, you think, good tolerance as well.
Sorry?
Sometimes, like, let's say the wife might say something.
Yeah, of course, if she needs to be ticked, she needs to be ticked, right? In a nice manner, of course, right? But sometimes also the men are not, you're just not patient. You're different from the woman, very different, right? So you just need to be patient and to compromise some things that to make sure that the marriage lasts. Always remember, brothers, and Iqbal, you may agree with me, that when bad things happen, always remember the good things that she did. Always remember, right? When the good things she did, then don't always, just because she did this, and that's, you will experience this, right? Women is like this. Iqbal, correct me if I'm wrong, right? You may do all the good things, right? Once you did one bad thing, this is remembered for life. Do you agree?
Remember what happened 10 years ago?
Yeah. It's how woman is. That's why Ramadan sometimes was very angry with the woman sometimes, right? Because she got 9, right? Is it 9? 9 wives. At one time, right? It's very difficult. I don't know how she can. What's the time now? 6:30.
It's quite common in the Pakistani culture. The wife, like, even the husband, like, works like 6-7 days a week. Wife will be just like, oh, you did this to my brother, or you did this, and like
The brother.
to her brother. Like, for example, I don't know. At least I know in the Pakistani community, like, the husband, I don't know, treats the wife's brother sometimes bad, or depends. Sometimes the husband might have issues with in-laws. She would take that personally on her, and then she would have like issues.
Yeah. This is not that common in some other cultures, but I know. Yeah. So always remember, brothers, issues, especially with your family, there must be understanding, must be patience, inshallah. Yeah. Number 3, the hadith from Tabarani and Albani authenticated it. Of course, Shaykh Albani. Prophet Muhammad said, listen to this, the most beloved of Allah's servants to all others with best manners. All of us wants to be beloved to Allah, agreed? To enter Jannah, inshallah. So correct our manners, inshallah. I see this especially to myself, right? Correct your manners, inshallah. The next one, Abdullah ibn Amr said, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was never obscene or coarse, never. Rather, he used to tell us that the best among us were those with the best of manners. So he never used on back language. He never used anything that is rough. Never shout at people. He was always very amazing people. As I said just now, every Sahaba would think that he is their best friend because how the way that he treat individually the people. Yeah. Many things. Yeah. Abu Hurairah reported that Prophet ﷺ said, and what is most likely to send people to paradise? Having taqwa and having good manners, these two things. Yeah, so many things. And because of time constraint, I need to focus on these four things, right? The 4 main hadith on good characters. Imam Nawawi mentions that scholars have said all good characters and manners can be derived from these 4 hadith. This 4 hadith determines what is good manners, right? One of them. From Abu Hurairah reported that Prophet ﷺ said, Whoever believes in Allah and the last day, let him speak goodness or remain silent. What does it mean?
There's nothing good to say. Be quiet.
Yes, as in silence is golden, literally. Yet, so you do not need to be the most popular person in the room just because you want to fill the vacuum, right? If you have nothing to say, just keep quiet, because the things that we said might be. Remember, some people likes to joke around, and at the time the same as joking, the person is lying. What is the hadith about this?
I guarantee house in the middle of Jannah, the one gives lying you for sake.
Yeah. So what is the three things?
I guarantee house in the outskirts of Jannah for the one who gives argument, even if he's in the right.
So it gives up argument, even though he's in the right, then you will get the house in outskirts of Jannah. Right? It's quite important because it's not about winning the argument. You may be right, because at the end of the day, both are may be right, correct? Because in the time of Prophet ﷺ, what did he say about this? Do not reach this place. Do not pray Asar until you reach this place, right? Another place. Then what happened?
Someone didn't pay.
So it was quite a long journey, and Maghrib came. So what happened?
Some of the literalists, they've said, we're not going to pray literally, except in Qurayza.
Yes.
The others said, no, it's just to make the soldiers move quickly for it.
Yes. But are both of them correct? Yes, more correct. So sometimes we do not need, because when we have arguments, what happened, Helmi? You always want to be correct, isn't it true? You want to be the one who have the last say.
Yeah, ego plays a role.
Ego, yes. Not just ego, shaitan also, right? And this is important in the hadith, right? If you want to have a house in outskirts of the paradise, you just need to say once. That's it. This is my point, this opinion, that's it.
So this is the second hadith.
Huh?
This is still part of
The first hadith. Yeah, the silence is golden. And
Guarantee a house in the middle of Jannah for the one who gives lying you for sake of fun.
yes. So you cannot say, I'm telling my second wife this, even though I got no second wife. Right?
Sure.
You know, sorry?
Are you sure?
Inshallah. I'm on video, of course, I'm sure. She's going to kill me. Yes.
How are both the reasons right? Like not to
Take care. Sorry?
not to go to the place and then pray Asr until you reach the place where Maghrib starts. Like shouldn't you pray Asr before Maghrib?
It is because of the Quran, right? The verses say. But Prophet his order was very strict. Do not pray Asr until you reach this place. So things happen beyond our control. But so both of them are, because the order was strict from Prophet ﷺ. Ati Allah wa ati Rasul, right? So obey Allah and obey Prophet ﷺ.
So their prayer being valid.
Yes, inshallah. Only for that. Only for that thing, not for anybody else. Okay. Last one.
When كان مزيكنا بيت في أعلى الجنة من حسن خلقه and a guarantee house in the highest part of Jannah for one of the manners.
Yes, good manners, highest part of Jannah. This is important. So don't underestimate good manners at all, right? Regardless of your culture, right? I'm not looking at you. I just happen to look at you. So that was Sahih for Muslim. Yeah. Ibn Hibban al-Basti said, the tongue of an intelligent person is behind his heart, so that when he wants to say something, he consults his heart. If it is thought that he should speak, he does, and if not, he remains silent. So don't say the first thing that comes to your mouth, or you need to consult your heart first, see whether it is appropriate or not. It's quite important. Yeah, it's not about being popular or not in the group. It's about make sure that you say the right thing, inshallah. Yeah. Number 2. So that's the first hadith. What is the first hadith? Yes, right. Do not speak. So whoever believes in Allah on the last day, let him speak goodness or remain silent. Number 2. So everything about characteristics, according to these many scholars, it revolves on these 4 hadith. Right. Then number 2, Ali ibn Hussein reported that Prophet ﷺ said, verily, from the perfection of Islam is that a person lives what does not concern him. Again, what is the one that I forward to the group? So that means don't be busybody, right? That was one of the 3 signs of taqwa, right? What is the 3 signs of taqwa? From Ibn Qayyim, rahimullah, right? What did he say? Can you go through the WhatsApp group?
So I have a question. So you know this is mind your own business, basically. How do we reconcile that with joining good?
That's different, right? So this is when you see something that is not correct, because even the hadith state, what the Prophet say, if you see an evil,
Try to stop it with your hand.
yeah, hand first, and then the
With your hand.
mouth and the heart, right? In that order. Yeah.
So who's the hadith?
Ibn Qayyim, right? The three signs of taqwa, right? And I think the first one was leaving things that is haram, right? Then second one, leaving things that is macro. Can you read for me the whole thing, please?
Taqwa has 3 levels. The first, protecting the heart and limbs from sins and all the matters.
Yep.
The second, protecting the heart and limbs from like matters.
Yep.
And the third, protecting oneself from the.
Yeah, fudul means, well, things that not doesn't concern you at all.
So what do you leave off generally?
Sorry?
What do you generally leave off?
So, for example, things that let's say we can some in your friends that has this gathering, you want to know what kind of gathering it is and all this. You don't need to know everything about the gathering, right? Only things that you think, oh, if a person is not praying, right, then you advise this person. That is not a busybody, because adjourning forbid evil. Things that are not correct Islamically, then you do it in a nice way, nicest way, inshallah. Right?
So literally anything except things that could be like bad. So you should
Yeah. So in Islamic things that causes you to perhaps the person is disobedient to Allah, you may advise this person, or you should advise this person, right? But anything other than that is mind their own business, right? Because it may lead to fitna, may lead to things that are no good. Because you are not supposed to be suspicious, isn't it true? Which surah is this?
Huh?
You're not supposed to be suspicious. We are forbidden to be suspicious.
49?
49, right? I think verse number 11 or 12. One of those, right? So all these kind of things lead to suspicious. We're not allowed to do this, right? Yes.
We're not allowed to be what?
Suspicious
About what?
about people in general. So that means it leads to, that means you don't be busybody when it doesn't concern you at all.
So you should just ignore them if they're just doing something wrong.
Yes, and unless it is against the deen, you perhaps want to advise them. That's about it. Yeah, even advice, you're not there to judge, right? Because a lot of people, when advise, they will judge, correct? And so don't judge. You're just there to advise, inshallah. Yes.
In the Asian community, it's quite popular to ask, like, how much do you earn?
Yeah, busybody, I know. Yeah. Same thing. In my culture, right? Go to my house first time. Oh, I want to see your rooms and all this. That is completely busybody. Do you know what I mean? Because they want to compare things, right? What do you have, what you don't have, and this is called busybody. It doesn't concern you at all.
There's some subjective in person though. Like I heard Sheikh explain this, saying this hadith. This hadith is related to like subjective to the person. Like if you see a stranger, you ask him where were you going yesterday. That's none of your business. If you, let's say a brother you see every second day,
Yes.
then it'd be different if you asked him
Yeah.
compared to a stranger.
Yeah.
So the subjective to the person when you
Yeah.
ask questions.
So I may ask people, right? Why didn't you wake up at tahajjud, right? So this is part of enjoying good forbid evil, right? Perhaps you do not know the importance of tahajjud, right? Which is our topic tomorrow, inshallah. So yeah, so as the culture is very nosy, right? They want to know this, who are going to marry, right? Is he a good person? All this things come out, right? Or what is his work? What is he does it earn enough money and all this? Is it true you in your culture also? Quite busybody sometimes?
Some people they are, but you'll find people who, regardless of what the person is earning, they would, as long as he's paying back.
Yeah, but not all are like that, right? Some people they want to earn, as you said, Singapore is a very rich country. They want to know how many houses you have and how many. Very important. Yeah? There's 5. What is the 6 C's in Singapore? 6 C's. Career, country club membership. Car in Singapore is not very expensive. A car, right? Cash, condominium is very expensive. They want to know where is everything, right? Condominium is not like here, council house, no? With swimming pools in Singapore and all this. So you want to know where it is in the center. So all this is unnecessary questions. Right? So again, verily from the perfection of Islam, do we want our Islam to be perfect, inshallah? What did Allah say? Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu udkhulu fi silmi kafa. All you to believe, enter into Islam perfectly. Right? You want to minimize the harm that it may cause, because when you found out somebody, let's say, and that's your culture, right? Let's say, oh, you know what's the mahar? The mahar is only £100.
It's more than that.
No. For example, right? Can you imagine? The rumor goes on to you.
Yeah, it's like wildfire, like.
And this is how it is.
On all the chats.
It's gonna last after marriage as well.
Yeah.
According to Sharia, what's the mahar?
Depending on the earnings. Remember Ali, what is his? What was his mahar?
Armor,
Yeah, Amar.
right?
Yeah, mahar.
You get married.
Yeah.
The
Fatima.
Whether you, how much you earn or not.
Yeah, it depends on the wealth of the man.
Depending on the wealth, the woman should ask. Depending on.
Yeah, but there's a hadith, another hadith. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the best of woman is one who's easiest on the mahar.
Or no mahar.
Hmm?
Or no mahar.
No, it must be a mahar.
Must.
Must be. Right? Whether it be a ring or whatever. Nowadays it's Umrah or Hajj. Hajj is a torture, no? Because Hajj is more expensive. Right? A cat? Oh.
Can I just?
Or you send them with this.
What's the time now? Sorry.
621.
Okay. Can we have two more? Yes, question?
Can I ask why? I should ask for armor.
Armor.
Yeah, I think
I think what Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was recommending.
because he came and then he was shy and then he said,
Yeah.
okay, do you want to marry my daughter?
Yeah.
And he said, then what do you have? And then he presented him.
Because I think of all the Sahaba, Ali is one of the poorest one of all.
Yes, he was.
Yeah. And alhamdulillah, he married one of the best
Woman is the
Muslimah, yeah, one of the four.
five top five.
Yeah. Hadith number 3. Right? Abu Hurairah reported that a man came to Prophet Muhammad and said, advise me. The Prophet Muhammad said, what was the advice? You heard of this hadith?
Let's talk about
Don't be angry, right?
the third one.
Third one, right? And then don't be angry again, right? This one Bukhari. Why is anger so important to control?
Because you might say something that later.
Because the topic is good manners, right?
Ruin your whole future.
It ruins everything, right? Perhaps because of shaitan, right? So it might ruin your marriage, ruin everything, right? Because of your anger. So it's very important to follow the advice of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When you get angry, what do you do? Out of shaitan first. Sit down first.
I heard someone saying.
No. In that order, A'udhu billahi shaitanir rajim first. Six. Then after that, no. After that, you sit down first. Then you lie down. Still cannot, then you make wudu, pray 2 rak'ah. In that order, inshallah.
How about if you sleep?
Sorry?
Then you're not angry.
How?
Like you lie down and all of a sudden you go to sleep.
Oh.
Sleeping like this. This everything.
Okay, so this is the thing. Control anger. Anger is, we're going to talk about one day about this anger. Anger is the source of everything. Yeah. The last one, Anas ibn Malik reported that Prophet ﷺ said, none of you will have faith until he loves his brother than what he loves for himself. So how does it relate to manners?
Treat people how you want to be.
Yes. So the way you be treated, I'm sure you want to be treated a certain way. Then you treat others as what you want to be treated, right? So if let's say Elmi, let's say you are in another 20 years time, let's say you're 38, right? Then you, at that age, perhaps you expect people to, well, perhaps respect the youngsters and steps all the time, inshallah. Would treat you with respect, then you need to treat others with respect now, right? So it is very important to know about this hadith.
One of the Shaykh was saying the benefits in this hadith is that if you implement a person to actually implement on it, you won't oppress somebody, because if you love your brother or you love yourself, then you can't oppress someone.
Yes. Oppress means?
Huh?
Example of oppression?
Regarding like wealth.
Mm.
Let me give an example, like
Yeah, what is oppressions when you say oppressions?
oppression. Dhulm.
You told me I know though, but what is it? Example in real life?
Let's say you owed
Yeah, of course. Huh?
you owed him like, let's say £100.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have the money, you can pay him back, but you still
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
So you oppress the brother.
Yes. So do be careful in this, right? Another thing that this is what my client said, right? I will be honest with you, right? This is what my client said. If I were to, so he's working part-time, earning about £1,000, and he was given a house benefit for free, right? He said, if I were to work longer, then I'll lose the house. What does it mean? It's cheating, isn't it true? Do you agree? And all this also is a form of dhulm, because you know this, you are lying, right? And you have to be careful with this, with benefit system. Brothers, always remember, you will be accountable to Allah on the day of judgment, whether you like it or not. Yeah. If you're allowed, if you're allowed to, you're able to work, you need to work. Yes, sorry.
Sheikh, I know sleeping doesn't, but before our brother goes to sleep, does sleeping that way break the rule?
Did you sleep? No, I don't think so, because it's position. It's not, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Then if I would go, if I were to lie down, then I would go. Because down this one, you usually you can control yourself.
If you sit like this, yes.
That's how Prophet Muhammad used to wait for Fajr, right?
Yeah. Okay, so this is important that we are honest with ourselves, right? Because if not, everything is accountable on it. Why are people so crazy about benefit?
Easy money.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you're begging, isn't it true? You're like a beggar, 100%, right? If you're begging for things, is it halal or haram in Islam?
It's like
It's haram.
and this is haram because you're
Yeah, you're lying and all this, right? But stealing. Yeah, so be careful with all this. Right? So any questions so far, brothers, before we end?
So was the Quran the love for your brother?
Yes. Yeah. So as a summary, how to instill good manners? First of all, start from home. Parents, you must be able to instill good manners. Start from a young age. Engage in lots of communications with the family and share your views politely. Address issues that may disturb you immediately and do not wait. Avoid being rude by constantly being obsessed by your mobile phones. Correct each other nicely. Look at examples of Prophet ﷺ. Sorry to say this. Visit countries that are well known for having good manners. Like
that you're gonna come
not
back
Sudan,
alive.
right? They can come out alive, yes. Right, seek knowledge, be the good companions, seek refuge with Allah, in Allah from shaitan. Yeah. Questions? Is this helpful, today's talk? Yeah, because important that we look at ourselves. Only you can change with Allah's help, of course. Yeah, may Allah let me end first because of the adhan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant all of us with the ability to have good manners. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala improve our iman and taqwa. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help those suffering in Palestine, grant them ability to be patient and istiqamah of the deen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant Allah Jannah to Firdaus. Wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta wa astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun alal mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Jazakumullah khair. Tomorrow's topic is about tahajjud, inshallah, because it's from surah number 73, yeah, the third revelations of the Quran.
You know, some brothers in Ireland, yeah, they pay like they earn like work less hours, but still.
Yeah.